What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy J Dub, the number one comment on YouTube, and I'm back with another review. Today, I will be reviewing Ready to Love. This is the reunion part two. This is the season finale, finally. And for those who are new to my channel, I do detailed reviews of reality shows. I don't do every single scene by scene. I try to pick out the most important parts, but also maybe try to pick up some detailed parts that you may not have seen. And of those who are new to my channel, as I said in my intro, I am YouTube's number one commenter. And when I say this channel is all about the comments, and I mean it, that's what I do it for. That's what I need from you. That's all I ask. I don't ask for the like, subscription, and all the Patreon, nothing. Cash App. I say, please, just comment on it. I need when you come in the door, don't be rude, comment because I need the interaction. I actually reply to each and every single comments because it's just that important to me. But enough of me begging about comments, but that's something I like in real life require. I can't make somebody do it, but I'm letting you know if you support the channel, respect me, that's what I need from you. And it don't take much. Just say hi. Just say something to somebody else. Say something about your day. Say something about smooth Tony up top. Say something. But this is a continuation of the episode where Tony and Morgan doing it back and forth. I need to talk to him, man. Tony's so upset, but he's running game because at the same time he's so concerned about Morgan. He's right on the couch with Marcia, like kind of clowning Morgan or whatever. You know, Again, I'm so grateful and thankful that this is the last episode because to me, they've done such a poor job on this show and a lot of other shows. But it's just so now we no longer can really hold people accountable because I think it's quite ridiculous for people to come on a show that's committed to find love and they get to back out anytime they want. Oh, I'm not. I thought I was ready, but I'm not ready, or I'm just a man, or I'm just a woman. Like it's ridiculous. Like you play with people's times, emotion, and it's just a big old waste. We have to be so sensitive to people. They had a bad day, mental health came into play. Their dog got stepped on. I don't know. It's just ridiculous. So, let's just keep going with the non accountability of life. And I told y'all from the beginning, smooth Tony from up top was no good from the beginning. But again, it becomes exhausting trying to convince people like, hey, this guy isn't no good. Just like Morgan, you got to let people be. But people still backpedal. Well, it's not that he's a bad person. He's just misunderstood or whatever. Tony is a fraud. Bottom line. Um, he comes in with the, I'm a prayerful man, and I provide, I protect, and I just want to be serious, and I want one woman and all that. It's like a joke, but people don't have strong insights, and I can't blame people, and I can't blame people for those who force themselves to see the good in people when there's nothing really there. But it's just quite absurd, and that's why people continue to be tricked and deceived because they have no radar, they have no defenses up at all. They just take people for their word when they haven't even earned that. So let's just keep going if we can. So I done lost in my notes when I went into that rant. You know, like uh I'm not I'm not buying with Andre where like how he did not have the opportunity to discuss his concerns with Jeffrey, like all that romancing and feeding her baby bites of food. And do you see Andre when he pushed the food off of the fork with his finger? Ugh. I mean, it's just like this guy. He's not real. He's not real. Um, and to me, he played Jeffrey. I don't know if he just wanted the fame. I don't know if he wanted to get to see why she has three kids. I don't know what his purpose was, but it wasn't genuine. It wasn't genuine because he wasn't so concerned about Jeffrey and not allowing her children's father to see her kids. And I mean, I missed a couple of episodes, so it's little things that I pick up. And I gotta get on my rant on Corvette. Like, granted, that's why I got my own channel. I can express myself uninterrupted. And I welcome the comments, even if you don't agree with me. Like, how about people, the YouTube streets are like, oh, that's right. Ain't nothing wrong with a woman. She wanna put her demands and put her list up, and she has the right to do that. And guess what? She does. Everybody in the whole world does. But when you're on a public platform, we have the right to comment and say how we feel or what we think about it. Because to me, from the beginning, looking at Corvette, I ain't saying she a gold digger, but that's how it go. However, don't play it like this is just some regular type of expectations or demand. I'm gonna go all the way back to when she had the date with Febreze. When you talk about like Corvette, what do you want in a man? You know what? As a little girl, I dreamed of finding a man who has created and sold a business, and that's the kind of trait I want in my husband. Like, that's about money. And that's what you're about. That's what you're about. To me, she's saying it, but everybody's saying, "Oh no, that's quite all right." Because that's like a man saying, "You know what? I want a woman who has a body of a person as she had a BBL, but she didn't have a BBL, but it looks like she had a BBL, and her grandparents left her 300 acres in Georgia and a trust account worth $1.5 million. That's the dream woman I want." It would be the same thing. It sounds so ridiculous and absurd. I was mixed ridiculous and absurd together. That like, hey, you going after the money, and this ain't the show for that, because these aren't. Let's say I'm gonna jump out there like this is the top tier guy of the $1 million matchmaker. It's not. It's Ready to Love. Lyndon worked part time. You're not going to find that on this show. But okay, people are like afraid to call a thing a thing. She go digging. She want a certain lifestyle. So be it. So whatever. God bless her. But let's call a thing. Like that's just normal to say. She didn't say, I want a man to be kind. I want to be respectful. I want a prayerful man like Tony. A biblical husband like Andre. No traits. What's in them pockets? But okay, let's move on. Before I get out the way, I gotta get certain things out of the way. I saw Natasha, and Natasha, I said from the beginning, I didn't think they should have voted her off first. Probably should have got Z out the way, but I wanted to see more from Natasha. But to me, and let me know, did Natasha look like she aged about 11 years since the last time we seen her? I don't know. Let's keep going. So we see Morgan. Morgan is talking about Tony and Marcia, and Morgan actually triggered Marcia with the word, like referencing Marcia as a distraction. And this is my belief, that your triggers are your own. I don't think Morgan calling Marcia like a possible distraction to her and Tony was a bad thing. But Marcia, oh well, baby, I'm not a distraction. I'm more than that. You must don't know who I am and all that. It got all extra or nothing. Now, granted, to me, my opinion, Marcia started it, but Morgan demonstrated how she does not have control over her emotions at the ripe old age of 39 and a half. It just shows her maturity level. And especially on this platform, they know people pick at each other. You should. I say you can't. You should have something more in you to be able to control yourself and not look like a monster, as she said. Because that's who looks like a monster. Morgan the monster. I'm afraid of Morgan more than Tony. So they go into another segment. They always got to show, because they love these things, the love triangle between Andre, Cynthia, and Jeffrey. And to me, it's no secret. I always saw Andre as a surface level guy, who pretty much tries to charm the ladies and looks like he's trying to smash, but comes off like quite awkwardly. I just never saw it for Andre, and I never saw it for Andre when Cynthia was talking about off of one date of painting that Andre was the one. That said a lot to me about Cynthia. And the crazy thing is, I'm surprised, as surface as Andre is, he always saw Cynthia's game. He said before, like, her answers are too perfect or she's so quick. And I believe that's the thing. It kind of takes the human side out of people. Like, you have the perfect answer that fit everyone. And I think at times that's a gift. But people's like, oh, people are just being genuine. It's like, no, Cynthia's running game. Cynthia's always been my favorite since Morgan showed her true self. However, I always said Cynthia is like fake deep. She always tries to go out her way to say a whole lot of nothing. But people are so wrapped up. Oh, Cynthia's just so wonderful. She's so smart. She's so insightful. She's this, she's that. I'm like, Cynthia ain't real. She's not. She's not. And pretty much it showed that, I'm going to guess from what I saw on the television, that Andre kind of gravitated to Jeffrey because she came off more feminine. To me, Cynthia operates like a man. She's masculine in the masculine way of like how men run game, where you talk about like, oh yeah, so yeah, this is our first date, but now we got to get ready for our wedding, our engagement party. And you know what? Just looking at you, I know we're going to have 3 or 4 kids. And like, this is the first date, but you talking about we getting married, I'm your husband and all that kind of stuff. That is classic game. And Cynthia's been running it from day one. Everybody's her future husband and her future kids and 2 kids and a dog. It's game. But but Andre, like I said, in real life, he played Jeffrey. He had an opportunity to address these concerns. And, I was on Jeffrey's side in the situation when she said, she quoted Andre. She said, hey, how are we going to have time to love our children when you want me to play stepdaddy to your kids? Andre didn't say, hold up, that's a damn lie. I ain't never said that. And then he's like, yeah, I said that. I'm like, yikes. Off the break, she had 3 kids. And if you wanted some kids, that wasn't the right lady for you. Just plain and simple. So I just felt like he rode Jeffrey back into the final decision, and I choose you, and then he ghosted her or whatever. I'm sure Andre pulled a Jerry Maguire. He shoplifted the pootie. And that comes from the Jerry Maguire movie where Cuba Gooding Jr. says, like, you can't just deal with single mothers like fairly and you not be serious about them. The single mother's been to the fair. They've been on the rides. They played the games. So if you're going to play with her, you did wrong. Move on to somebody else. She got it. She do have something to think about. And I have to be a little bit more serious because she has little people who she's responsible for. So don't play with a single woman's mind and time because she don't have it like that. I think Andre shoplifted the pootie for real. So let's go to Smooth Tony from up top in his segment. And again, I'm going to beat a dead horse. I tried to tell y'all that Smooth Tony from up top is really a scumbag from down low. I'm telling you, I knew it. But Tommy immediately gets into like his entanglement with Natasha. Like I said, she was the first contestant that was eliminated. They seem to have a rapport, and it got kind of deep. Natasha quoted, and Tony did not deny, saying that like Tony asked her like, "Hey, me and you doing our thing. Do you want me to lead the show?" By his request, and she said that she declined that offer, saying that it wouldn't be fair to him in the process. And Tommy brought it right back to him and said like, "Hey, now Tony, would you have done that? Would you have left the show to be with Natasha?" And he's like, "I don't really remember saying that." Like everybody like, "Oh, here go the bull." Tony's full of it. He's an untrustworthy type of character. He has a lack of character for real. And to me, in my opinion, I didn't hear nobody say this because I don't try to watch too many reviews because sometimes my favorites, the greats who I follow, we kind of share the same opinion. But I never heard nobody say this. And I'm going to say this. To me, Natasha kind of blew Tony's spot up. And she was saying what I could not articulate because I just call them names. Tony, you scumbag. Tony, you lowlife. Tony, you're nothing. You're worse than nothing. then gum under the desk, stuff, all that kind of stuff. But Natasha broke it down and said, like, it's really ridiculous how people give men a pass and saying like, oh, he's just a man being a man. When Tony, he comes off this man of God, this man of purpose. It's deceptive. It's fraudulent. It ain't real. Tony is there to play. And Tony tried to deflect that. He didn't want Natasha to talk. And Natasha was like, I wasn't blowing you up or trying to get with you. I was actually checking on you because people were speaking of that. Like, it may be an issue with you drinking a lot. And he showed that on the show throughout, especially on the retreat. Tony has a strong relationship with alcohol. That's his business. That's everybody's business. But having a strong relationship with alcohol is very serious. It's just a legal drug. And when people are hooked on it, all kind of things will go wrong. But so be it. That's his choice. He wanted to burn up his liver or harden it. That's him. But being a manipulative man or deceitful is not okay and not cool. Tony wants to come off. They should have called Tony the biblical husband. And to come on this show and to trick people, the women, and they're just like, oh, well, I'm just, even tell Morgan, and I think Morgan gets whatever Morgan gets. But the fact that he can tell Morgan, well, life, I got caught up in life and I really couldn't have room for Morgan and all that. He played Morgan. He got what he got from Morgan, just like Natasha, and he discards them. He's not a man of the cloth. He's not an honorable man. And that is not okay. He don't have to come in the show and do that. There's plenty of men playing all these women over and over again. And the women are like, oh, I don't know what happened. Or I don't know. He was such a godly, biblical husband. And he loved me and my kids, and ends in heartbreak. It happens. It's happening right now as we speak. It's happening every day. The men got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 women's everywhere. That's what it is, because the women outnumber the men, and the available men is very low, and the available quality men is super low. So it's a game. Break it down. It gets depressing. A lot of women are going to die alone. Sorry. I had to say it. It had to be said. It's sad. And dealing with Tony, it's probably better to be alone. I'm going to just say that. So be it. But what I did, like, I don't know if this is Tommy's contract year or whatever. Like, Tommy is stepping it up. He's asking the great questions of Tony, getting in there. He ain't just laughing it off. And he said, bottom line, I like this. This is what Tommy, he backs up what he's saying. Is saying pretty much like, at this point, because see, a good manager can't really pinpoint a person. They're trained to kind of like generalize and group, but you talking to one person, and pretty much told Tony without telling Tony, like, at this point, we got to stop playing with these black women. They hold us up. They've been holding us up from the beginning. They do not deserve to be toyed and played with and ran through for your pleasure. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Like, Tommy got in Tony's business without saying the word Tony. I applauded. I jumped up. I was like, yeah, Tommy, you're doing your thing. Salute to nephew Tommy, because I give Tommy a hard time. He don't bring nothing to the show but comic relief. He always joking. He don't stand up when he need to stand up, because he always claim respect. He did his thing. So let's go to the Anthony and Cynthia segment. And before we find out about the update of this lovely couple, you can see immediately that something was off with them. So much so, even Z backstage was like, what's going on with that body language? Because body language is a real thing. The numbers vary. Some people say body language is 55%. Some people say body language as much as 85% of communication. Without saying anything, your body language tells a lot of the story. It's a real thing in communication. Some people don't pay attention because they don't know how to communicate, but it's a real thing. And, Cynthia and Anthony are sitting way apart, and so much so when it's time for Cynthia to talk, she got her whole back turned to Anthony. That's saying a whole lot. She don't respect the man. She doesn't even recognize the dude. To me, Anthony was Cynthia's second choice. She really wanted Andre. I don't know why. Maybe it reminded her of her baby daddy, Trinidad James. I don't know. But Cynthia really floored me on this one, where she becomes my unfavorite now. You have a right to change your mind. Cynthia says, and through her hard times, because what they're going through is a great process. But in hard times, she realized that she's emotionally unavailable to Anthony. And I'm like, wow, what a time waster here. She gets off the hook. Anthony's going to, give grace and he's going to apologize for her. I think it's really big that, she realized about herself. She may have treated me poorly, but she delved into the inside of her inner selves and just realized that maybe this isn't the right time. And I just want her to get the help and the work that she needs so she can come back to me. I will be waiting. I can only imagine what their struggles were, when Anthony come over to the house, Trinidad James probably on the couch in his boxers eating Cheetos and stuff like that. Like, he just doing his thing, and Anthony's just supposed to roll with it. Even sweet Anthony ain't doing all that. Nobody's gonna put up with that, and I think it's kind of ridiculous. What a time waster. That's the only thing. Guess what, people? That's the only thing we cannot recoup. We can recoup money, cars, items, whatever. The time you waste and lose, it can never be recovered. So time is important, but people don't realize that. And so if you're gonna let Trinidad James be over there to spend times with his kid in his boxer and his tank top, so be it. And that's the life that she says I got under control. I believe that. Even though they didn't say anything like that. Now, granted, Cynthia has a very likable personality. But she's not real. She's not real at all. And I really think Anthony dodged a bullet for this. He'd have a lot of heartache. But Cynthia ain't really feeling like that. Anthony has the DNA of Shaquille on Married at First Sight. So I'm gonna keep on going. So pretty much they do the they love to do a love triangle. So we got Mark Anthony. His love triangle consists of Mercedes and Jeffrey. And at this point, they were just showing like the interactions with Mark Anthony had with Mercedes and Jeffrey. And they showed him kissing Mercedes. And Jeffrey was like, she was super bothered. I'm like, was that your man or what? You could have picked him, or I thought you could have picked him, but I didn't understand how Mark Anthony was so enamored by Jeffrey, like in real life. Maybe it was perfect. I didn't think about that. Look, I just had this thought. This wasn't my notes. It was perfect. He really lives in New York or travels from New York to Miami. Jeffrey is planted with her 3 fatherless children in the Florida area, because I heard her say like she came down to Andre, so I don't think she lives in Miami, but in Florida. So she got to stay where she stay. Mark Anthony can play in New York, and when he come down to Florida, he could deal with Jeffrey and really not be a stepdaddy, and still get to see why she got 3 kids. Who knows? I just came up with that theory, and I like it. I like that a lot. So in the end, Mark Anthony didn't get really either lady, because Mercedes chose herself in the end or whatever. But I call chose herself, aka I can smash when I'm in town or whatever. Because Mercedes wanted something light, and I understand that she's young, she don't have no children. Why she want to be bogged down? But she don't want be committed to no man that live in an upstate or whatever. That just don't make no sense. So I get that. I totally get that. So pretty much that was it for the episode. They did like outtakes or whatever, and they didn't really show too much. But what I was surprised to see, Lyndon and Sue Ann, they playing football, and this was enough scenes for it looked like even Blake kind of backed up off Sue Ann, like she bending all over, like she trying to give Lyndon the goods out on the football field. And he probably won't call her after this for real. They need a part 3 just to find out if Blake ghosted Sue-Ann for after seeing that scene. So pretty much that was it. So glad it's over. The next Ready to Love will be like in next month. It'll be in Dallas. I want them to try new cities. I got suggestions, but I don't. But we want some new cities in different places. And I guess after this reunion, Tommy can stay one more season, or so we'll do that because I got to say so, right? But drop down in the comments, tell me what you thought of this season finale. I'm so glad it's over. The show was hard to do. Nobody really holds anybody accountable. People make crazy, stupid excuses. So, like I said, let me know what y'all think. And I got one more video in the mix right now. We're gonna do Put a Ring on It next. And as I always tell y'all could be anywhere in this YouTube world, but you're here with me. I really appreciate it. I really mean it.